Hello and welcome to another 10-Minute Tech. Today we're going to be talking about Jamboard. We're going to be talking about how you can use Jamboard for collaboration, creativity, and communication in your classroom. By the end of this session, you will know what a Jamboard is, you'll understand how it can be used to facilitate collaboration, creativity, and communication. You'll have a chance to see how a Jamboard works, what the tools actually do, and you'll have the ability to identify a number of activities that can be done with Jamboard. So let's talk about what Jamboard is first. There is an interactive whiteboard which Google makes, which is called the Jamboard, and it is $4,999. It is a lovely interactive whiteboard, but that's not what we're talking about in this session. Instead, we're talking about the free Jamboard, which is an app that you can find from your 9-dot waffle menu on any of your Google product pages. It is also an app for Android and iOS devices. And the app, interestingly, actually does a little bit more than the online version does. The online version is what we're going to be looking at, but realize that the apps allow you to add content from Google Drive, to take photos, and to add stickers. So if you see a Jamboard with a sticker, chances are it was worked on an app. One of the things about Jamboard is it's still relatively new, so it's constantly being updated. The thing that I discovered as I was doing research for this is that even tutorials from 2019 are outdated. Things that they talk about are no longer there, they've moved tools around. So what I have tried to do for you is gather resources that are timely and up to date. And they are located at the link that is at the bottom of the page of this video. If you go to that bit.ly link, it will take you to a page that has up-to-date tutorials and a lot of resources that you can use. So how can you use Jamboard with students? Well, in Jamboard, it's essentially one big whiteboard. So you can have kids collaborate by editing the same Jamboard, or by editing different frames in the same Jamboard and then sharing their work and commenting on each other's ideas. Also, anything that you would use sticky notes for in your classroom, you can do on a Jamboard because you can put passages to read, you can put pictures, you can put anything that you want on a Jamboard and then allow the kids to annotate that with sticky notes. Kids can create in all kinds of ways with Jamboard. They can do planning, they can use graphic organizers, they can do art. It's really just a big, like I said, shared whiteboard. So anything that you might do on a huge piece of construction paper, students can do on a Jamboard. And using a Jamboard is definitely going to facilitate communication because it can be used to explain thinking, to show examples, to make comments on other people's work. And the nice thing about it is that you can share a Jamboard and it can be either used synchronously while your students are all working at the same time, or it can be used asynchronously. Kids can come back to it and update it. So here is a sample of a Jamboard, and you can see that there are many things that you can do. It's not a really detailed graphic tool. You're going to notice that, there's not a lot of drawing ability. You don't have all the colors, but it is good for what it will do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a Jamboard and at how that actually works. So I am moving to a Jamboard, and this is opening a blank Jamboard in my Google Drive. And now everything that is going to load here has loaded. And you will see that I have the ability to name my Jamboard. So I'm going to name this one simply Test. Right now, my test Jamboard has one frame, and that's all that is here. So I can do anything that I would like to on this frame. I have a pen tool, and if I click on it once, I can write. If I click on it again, it shows me the different types of tools that I have, and all of these do slightly different things. You'll see like the watercolor tool is much lighter, almost works as a highlighter. So there are a number of tools here. If I make a mistake, I can easily erase with the eraser tool. The pointer is a selection tool, so once I've put something on my Jamboard, if I want to edit it, I can choose it with my select tool. That doesn't work with the pen, with the brush tool and the pen tool, but it works with everything else. This is the sticky note tool, so I can type on my sticky note, I can save it, and then it's set up so that I can do another one. So if I was doing rapid brainstorming, I could just keep clicking sticky notes and adding them, but I'm going to stop now. So now I have my sticky note and I can move this around. I can click on my three-dot menu to edit, duplicate, or delete it. I could change the order if I wanted it to be on top of something or behind something, I'd be able to do that. I can also change the size, and I can make it be at a different angle if I want that. The Add Image tool is going to allow me to upload an image, search for an image, go to Google Drive and get a picture, or go to Photos and get a picture. I'm going to quickly search for a school bus, and here's one, so I could select it. And it is going to be on my Jamboard now, and I'll be able to move it around and do whatever I want to with it. The next tool down is the Shape tool. It always defaults as a circle, but if I click it on the little arrow next to the circle, here are all the other shapes, so I could choose a shape and I could draw it in place. I can change the line color or the fill color for my shape, so there we go. And I have the ability to just add text anywhere that I want to as well. So I'll type hello again, and there I have a little text box. So these are the main things that you can do on a Jamboard. The last tool is really used when groups are talking about a Jamboard together or you're teaching from a Jamboard, because this is the pointer tool, and I am able to draw circles or point at things. And then as soon as I've done that, you can see that my pointer has just sort of a tail that disappears. So it doesn't do anything to your Jamboard that stays, but it's a good thing that your students can use when they're showing their Jamboard to one another. You do up here have the ability to add a background if you want to. So now I have a grid background. And if I click this, it'll clear everything on my frame, it'll make everything go away, and then I am able to start over. So these are the main things that are on this side. So let's say that I had created on this an activity, and it was something that I wanted to give either to multiple groups or I wanted to give to multiple students in a group. Well, I can do a number of different things. The first thing that I want to show you is that up here we notice that we only have one frame. I can simply click and it will give me more frames. So now I've made 3 frames. If I go right underneath it, I have a teeny tiny little arrow. I don't know if you can see that. It's right underneath it. And it expands my frames. So now I can see all the frames that I have. And I can go to any one that I want, and I can duplicate it. So now I have 2 of this. So you can easily see how you could set up an activity on one and then copy it for all the members of the group. Well, I've got these blank ones here, and I don't really want them. I can delete them by using this as well. It's important to understand that that's how you delete frames before we go into the next menu, which is the 3-dot menu right here, because you have this lovely thing here that says remove. I did that first time I was doing this. That means remove the entire Jamboard, not just remove a frame. So don't use that unless you want to get rid of everything. But you are able to rename your Jamboard. You can download it as a PDF. You can save a frame if you have a frame that you just want to have as an image. Or if you've made a Jamboard and you want multiple groups to use their own version of it, you can make a copy of the whole Jamboard here. Because this tool in particular is so quickly changing, there is an update link right here, and it will tell you about the ongoing updates. So if you come to it, something looks funny, you can click on update and see if they've done something to either add or take away from the things that are on your Jamboard. So these are all of the different things that you can do. When you're ready to share your Jamboard, this is just like any other Google tool. First thing that you want to do is you want to make certain that the sharing permissions are correct. So right now, mine is set so that anyone on the internet with this link can view. I might want to change that, or I might want to make it so that anyone can edit. Totally depends on what I'm doing. But if I'm going to assign this through Google Classroom, I don't even have to worry as much about that, because When I go to Google Classroom with my Jamboards, I can just assign them like I do anything else in Google Classroom. So let's say that this is one of my assignments. This is simply making a robot, and I do have a link to this on the sheet that is attached to this presentation that's down below. But if I have a robot activity I want to give it to each child, it's really pretty simple to do that. I can go into my Google Classroom, I can make the assignment, I can give my instructions, and then I can add the Jamboard and say make a copy for each student. So in this particular example, each student is going to get a practice multiplying Jamboard to work on. Alternatively, maybe I have an activity that I want small groups to work on. Well, I can assign my kids to their groups so that the kids know which group they're in. And then I can upload my Jamboards and say that students can edit the file. So the kids assigned to group 1 would choose this Jamboard, and all of them would be able to edit at the same time. In this particular one, there are 5 pictures, and the kids go through putting sticky notes on each of the pictures. So they would be working on it at the same time. But it's fairly easy to do any of these things. This is the link to the resources, and I've given you templates and ideas and different things that you can do. One of the things that I do want to say before I end, though, is that it's unusual in that this tool does not have a revision history. So you won't know who has done what on a Jamboard. Now, you can think about your class. For some classes, that's perfectly fine. You set the parameters, you explain, and they'll work away with no problem. If you have a class that you want to do some of these things with, but you're a little bit more hesitant, you can do many of the same things that you do in Jamboard in Google Drawings, and you do have a revision history there, so you can actually go back and see who has done what in a Google Drawing. However, a Jamboard is really fun and a great tool to use, and I would suggest that you try it with your students and see how it goes. So thank you for spending this time with me, and if you have any questions about this or are interested in other sessions, please check out the information at our website. Thank you.